I never say trust the process.
Cool. There's a bit that's going to come at the beginning that you have no warning about.
I have a rap to start though.
Who said that? You don't want to do it as part of your... Is it related to peace?
No.
Oh, okay. Also, it doesn't need to be a very, very serious thing too. So you can be just like
Shall I start my rap now?
Took all this time to debate while he was sitting there. Okay.
So welcome to another POFcast. I'm Rob Lancaster.
I'm Minagano Kapit.
And I'm David Vincent.
And we're here with
Guest Bav Patel.
guest Bav Patel. Welcome. Pleasure to have guests. We're going to have more guests today. Last time we were in the field in the middle of Jonglei Bush for the POFcast and at Bish Bish in GPAA. Now we're in the field again, but in a room in Rumbek. And we're ready to talk about something, I was going to say completely different, but it's actually related. It's the Facilitative Leadership Inside Out program that's been going for the last 1 year. And a range of participants from across the country and different institutions. And we're going to hear from some of them in a moment. But as we always do, before getting into that, we're going to start with a reflection on peace, something that's made us think of peace over the last little while, couple of weeks or so.
So I will choose the trip that we did to the cattle camp. I was sitting behind the border or the motorbike, and as we were going, it was just quite peaceful breeze just hitting my face. And then actually when we arrived at the cattle camp, it's more like an organized chaos. It's like almost everybody knew what they were doing, and it looks really very peaceful.
For me, I'll think about the visit to Loreto Girls and the meeting with Sister Aula. I have heard so much about the school in the past, but visiting the school, meeting the sister and also some of the students, it's opening my mind to the kind of opportunities that we can be able to provide to our communities and young girls with even relative peace.
Sister Ola for me as well. And for me, it was interesting to see the walls and that it was a boarding school. And so in a way, the walls provided a kind of space for the girls to be in peace and actually focus on their studies. And so when you entered the compound and went through the wall, you could feel the difference. The space had a peace about it.
Thank you. And for me, it's Quinto. So every day we've had this La Lope, what's it mixed with? It's like
There's milk, there's semolina, there's lots of...
There's sweet, and when it arrives, Mary announces that it's here. It's like a balm on my soul, and the peace has arrived. So we may get more reflections related to peace as it pertains to facilitative leadership, but let's discuss a little bit that program and how we've ended up here. So we're in Rumbek and we've just finished 4 days at the end of a year-long journey. So let's go back to the beginning. And first, Bav, maybe you can say just very briefly who you are and how you've ended up involved in this flip.
So I work as a trainer and facilitator, and I've been working with the POF team for 2 or 3 years now. And somewhere along that story, we came up with this idea of running a 1-year program.
And can you just outline the kind of main contours of the program and why we designed it in the way we did?
I'd say for me, the main principle is if you imagine a typical 2-day workshop, the research shows that maybe people remember 5 to 10% of a 2-day workshop. And so if we really want to grow and sustain the capacity and skills of people, we need to give them a longer interaction. So we designed a journey where they're able to practice and integrate things that they're learning into their real life. And so FLIP was born as a 1-year capacity building, both inner capacities and outer capacities in terms of leadership development.
So concretely, it kicked off with an in-person workshop, let's say, or initial experience of 4 days. And that's
last March.
Last March, a year ago, almost exactly a year ago now. And then we had an interim period where we had a couple of online engagements before coming back together around August time for another 4 days together. And then off the back of that, we had this interesting process with smaller so-called action learning groups that met online in over 6 sessions, exploring different questions that they were grappling with in their everyday experiences, whether in professional or family or personal life. And then now we've come back together for a final 4 days. Now we're going to hear from more participants, but one of the participants, you were Minagano. So maybe you could just talk initially about, Bab's given us this nice theory of a journey and, giving it the space to really turn it into applied practice. But what's it meant for you?
Well, I think this whole 1 year journey, it has enabled me to challenge a lot of things, especially the concept of leadership. What does it really mean to me as a person and as a leader? And I got to learn that in most cases, we lead based on the information we know from our worldview on what it means to be a leader. And in most cases, it brings on board the concept of being the boss, being the one who is above people and giving instruction. But I think this journey, what it has taught me is the importance of co-leadership, that even if you are the person who is at the higher position of authority, there's still opportunity to lead together with other people. You don't have to be the final say. And what that does is it also creates an opportunity for shared responsibility, shared risk, and also shared opportunity for other people to test their knowledge, to test their skills, and also to bring on board new ideas that you wouldn't have done it as an individual leader.
If I could just add to that, I think what I found quite interesting or quite inspiring is the participants, they came from different organizations, right? And for me, these are people that I've known already before the Facilitative Leadership Program. And for me, they're quite humble enough. I think they're leaders in their own right, and they're doing incredible job. And that the idea to say, look, I want to learn something new and not be able to resist on something new to include into whatever sets of skills they already have as leaders, that for me was quite humbling, and these individuals are incredible.
And you've had a foot, kind of half a foot or a foot in the participation and a foot in the design and the objectives. So what would you say about, from your perspective, how this program is different from some of the other experiences that are on offer kicking around?
I think, like you said, I think the role, I was almost kind of like in the middle, but the role that I played is to bring the context to you too as you design the content itself. But also more so, I was situating myself as a person. We've talked about the flip after this cohort, what's next. I want to situate myself in a position where the cohort could reach out to me as well and say, you've observed us, you've done that, and how can you also support us with some of the individual questions that are coming up. So I look at that in that sort of a holistic, but as I was observing the process, I think, again, it comes down to the individuals that we have targeted as the first. Those who are able to be flexible enough to say we want to have a new set of skills. We need to be challenged on our own leadership processes, and they really allow that to happen. Coming from that vulnerability aspect, I really love that, and that was quite great.
And so we'll come to the participants themselves in a moment. But Bav, you've been using a lot of material that in a way you've been using in other contexts, at least the frameworks and so on. So going through this 1 year journey in South Sudan with this group of participants, what's stood out for you, observing or surprised you or struck you from the process?
I think maybe my answer's a bit reverse. I expected to be surprised, but I wasn't. So what I've discovered is these basic skills of active listening, of learning to be aware of what you don't know, of learning to include and collaborate others, whether I'm working in the UK, whether I'm working in Switzerland, in South Sudan, in Kenya, they seem to be human capacities that need to be developed in all the places where I go. So in a strange way, there's nothing unique about working in South Sudan because these types of capacities are just needed by everybody.
Any other points to add?
No,
To set the framing before we get others?
Not even just a framing. A similar question to Bob. Like, you've been with most of us for longer, and that sort of your own experience and observation and your sort of reflection. Now that we finished 1 year, I don't know what.
I think it underlines for me, I was sharing this morning, we had a sort of reflection time this morning, and then we're sharing in pairs, and I shared with other Robert that I think it's underlined for me that this longer term engagement with a group as part of a group is where there's the time, there's the space, there's like the learning loops really to gain some traction with some of the pieces, and that these shorter 3-4 day one-off workshops can be an interesting experience up to a point, but very unlikely to really embed a shift. And we've talked a lot in this flip about the shifts that are needed in leadership.
And to me, I think it's also the ability to practice some of these concepts and the accountability mechanisms that is in place through the action learning group, because it gives us an opportunity to go back to your peers and present a case or a problem that you're working with. And that in a way makes you vulnerable. People are able to critique you, people are able to share with you ideas and new information. So I think it's also now leading from a place of vulnerability, which is not a very common concept in our context. Everybody usually wants to show that, I know, I am a leader. How are you telling me this? I cannot be the leader if I don't know. So I think that is also challenging us a lot. Yeah.
Great. So let's hear from the participants as well. And the way we're going to do that is we'll leave a question for the next group to discuss, and then they'll leave a question for the following group. I think one suggestion was that the next group discusses just the key elements of the program for them and why, maybe.
Hello. Hello. My name is Deng Lazaro Garang. I am a participant of FLIP program, Facilitative Leadership Inside Out program. And I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Hi everyone. I'm by name Mary Arun Gold. I'm also a participant in this program.
Thank you. My name is Gordon Ayan. I'm also the participant for the PLIF for the last 1 year. I have to be here.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Koroba Rufino. I'm also a guest and also a participant for the LP. I mean, Facilitative Leadership Skill.
Amazing.
So basically, we were to discuss on the key elements and why. I think I can start and then move around. So I think for me, the key elements for the facilitative leadership skill is one is the inner listening, which I felt it was quite interesting in a way that we're able to reflect, especially whatever you plans to do. Sometime when you have inner listening, automatically this helps you to reflect a lot as a leader, and which helps you to plan better. So I think that's one critical element we have learned from this. How do we practice inner listening? And we've been practicing, and it was quite very important. And then the second part, which is also very critical for me, is the active listening. Most time you feel as leaders that we know things where we want to always direct, we want to take lead on things. But when you have a lot of people you're working together, subordinates or a lot of participants you're working together, it's always good to listen to them. This helps them to be able to give their opinions, diverse opinions. And once there is diverse opinion, automatically we come to a better consensus. So those are the two critical things I've learned. I can pass to you, Dave.
Thank you, Robert. From my own experience of the program, I can say I've took two sets of key elements. One is communication. Of course, communication is part of our lives, whether in work or in family situations or in general. So I learned a lot of different aspects of communication. And the one part that stood out to me is open communication when it comes to dealing with teams, with groups, and also staff at work. So communication is important, and that really stood out to me. And the second element is was actually the last. I don't know whether they did it intentionally, saving the best for last. The meeting design objective, which really plays a very good role in emphasizing on the good questions on why and the reasons and the what's of, for example, if we want to carry out a project, why would you want to carry that project? What are the reasons behind that project? And in case if the project goes further, what will you plan to do with the outcome? So I think these are really important things to consider, especially for people like us who are dealing with a lot of projects and a lot of plannings. So this is something that I really took and I will apply to my day-to-day life.
Thank you. I think one of the key elements that I worked on was collaborative teamwork during the process of 12 months on the PLIP program. And usually sometimes as leaders, working with different diverse members from different cultures across different communities is usually challenging to bring people on board to work on the project that is driving to the goal that is. I understand all of us have got different job descriptions, but these job descriptions are designed to arrive at a certain goal. But sometimes individual perspective would say, my job description is different from yours. Why should I collaborate with you and achieve that goal? So during the program, we're able to learn that regardless of our job description, this job description have one goal, and that is to engage the communities to live with peace. And for us to do this, we need to bring out some of we have other priorities, but then how do we incorporate other priorities from other people to come as a group and then deliver on what you want to do? If we do it individually, it may take you days, but if we do it as a group, it will take a lot of time to design, but it will take less time to deliver. So this is one way to work as a team, really taking up collaborative teamwork and integrate it, let it be decentralize it to lower levels. And this way, you are learning and you are growing the skills, and others also are coming up as leaders. And to this includes the level of vulnerability. As a leader, you don't need to say, I know. You need to accept that you just do it deliberately. You know it, but then what do? You just need to let others also be part of it. Accept that vulnerability does not mean, but you are doing others to also contribute, to also grow their own skills in thinking, critical thinking, and developing ideas that can also support the project. Thank you.
Thank you so much. One of the key elements I have learned for the first 1 year was decision making. As a leader, there is some point you cannot deny to make decision, but I was very for in making decision. But since I go through the PLIF training program, I'm now able, together with my team, to make some decision. It has become one of my daily life is active listening, which is inner listening. One of my colleagues has already mentioned it, but I'm really so very important point to me, and I cannot leave it. Inner listening, it has become almost every day in my lifetime. In every morning, it has made me to do journaling in the morning before I do anything. And finally, since I've been involved in peace building programs and dialogues, PLIF training has helped facilitate the dialogues, especially running the dialogue with the 60, 80, and 100 people is not easy. But through PLIF, I'm now able to run the dialogue successfully.
Maybe just to add to what Mary has just said, there has been a tradition of a species in most dialogues. When people come to come and dialogue, everybody want to talk. But with PLIF, we're able to learn the audit method, where you design a product that engage people in smaller groups where they can speak. Everybody will have a chance to speak. And this has replaced the traditional method of dialogue making. And through this program, that we are able to get views of 100 people in less than 3 hours, which we will achieve in 8. It was too exhaustive, but now it is very easy. Design your process and people will sit, and then everybody will speak in their own group, then come and share back, and you get the result you want.
So basically, they will talk to each other and then come up with their own opinions and points.
They will present through a presenter, and then will be the collective decision. At the end of the day, it will go down as a resolution. The SARS would be the chief or the commissioner saying, we want to do ABCD. The chief will say, I want to do this. But a common woman or a common man will not have a voice, but they will have to accept what the chief or the commissioner have said. But in this case, they contribute and agree, critique, and say, no, this is not the point. We need to frame it this way, and this is what we should do. And then become the resolution supported by everybody, and then the implementation becomes easy.
It's really interesting how facilitative leadership has instantly translated into our work environments without even us knowing, because it is 1 year and we have been meeting online, we have been discussing, sharing our own ideas and facilitating our own work in our own environments. One thing that actually stood out to me when I was dealing with artists and creators in my own space, there was a shift. I didn't realize it until I sat down with myself and I thought about it. People were, just like in your case, there were dominant voices. There were issues of control. People wanted to control their work in a way that it is only about themselves. But when we did more of listening, more of deliberations and more of consultations, and also listening more to them to kind of understand what they want to achieve, and then adding the necessary elements into their own creations, not taking control, but giving them the platform, and also try to think with them on how to come up with better results. It's really amazing.
And an interesting part about this training program, Plebis, most of the time it make me think critically. I ask myself, am I really doing the right things? I always question almost everything I'm doing in my daily life.
And maybe just to wrap it up, I know we have outlined these key elements, and maybe for the next group that may come, how do we deliberately enforce these elements to other participants who have not been part of PLIP? I know we are very few, but there are hundreds or thousands of people we interact every day, and we still have other participants at our organization who do not have this skill. How do we sell these elements to them for them to understand that this is meant to also make them grow, but it's not giving them a burden?
So I was thinking our next guest will be able to share the experience of the action learning group discussion. This will help them to be able to share the experience, and then other participants will be able to see whether how important this journey in terms of the facilitative leadership skills.
When they can come and talk about how the action learning groups were helpful to them in supporting their cases.
Oh yes, my name is John Meek. Am I the guests or who is the guests?
All of us.
Yeah, all of us are guests. My name is Sarah Nyanok, participant for PLIP.
I'm Joseph Machon, participant for the FLIP.
Stephen Bay, Flip program participant.
Can we also go back down, like how the structure action learning group look like, and how in the process we're able to learn and share from one another? For my case, the action learning group was effective in a way that I was having a case on effective coordination of the team members. And due to that, there were challenges of delegations and who to delegate based on what, and the mapping of the capacity of the staff, the people that I work with. I think the action learning group was in the succession that we conducted. I was able to share my case openly, and then I was given I have some tasks to implement within the other period, so that, and I provide the feedback and reflection. What I have done, what step I've taken, and then what are the changes. Did I get some? Yes, there were some positive changes in terms of feedbacks from my people I work with, and telling me that the area that myself I have to work on it personally, because sometimes we ship that no, I'm okay, everything is with me, but you also sometimes evaluate yourself
self-awareness, then I think this is what the main action of learning groups. So maybe based on your experience, but in the structure, maybe one of you can also provide us with.
Thank you.
And I think even if you see this, there's a connection, because even some of us were asking ourselves, why are we going to the cattle camp? But when we reach there and come back, you see lives are connected somewhere. You see yourself. But before, some of us were questioning ourselves, why do we go to cattle camp instead of other areas? But when we come back, we see life connected in other ways. Like the life of cattle camp is connected to us, people here in town, in other way. So you see there is a real connection, and then it can be connected to facilitative leadership.
Yeah,
Thank you.
maybe you can help us also to bail us out. How did actual learning groups help you?
It helps. It helps me if I start with Loreto. I would see the teamwork. Through teamwork, Sister Ola was able to make some decisions which were key to her life despite inexperience. She was able to give us example of using cook, using watchman to help make the decision for them. And the one thing that struck me in Loreto, which I've never seen in most of the schools, even in Kenya, is seeing the two gates. So who would have decided that you have to make the two gates? Possibly maybe it is a watchman for security purposes. So it is something that is a unique sort of something that I've learned that I've never seen in any other institution. I believe that one was a security-minded system and could have been coming maybe from a security guard, maybe to protect. Again, when we look at the cattle camp, then we see a lot of delegations. We see a lot of teamwork. People are doing different things, but at the end of the day, it is towards the building, the sustainability and coexistence within the cattle camp. Thank you.
Yeah, most importantly, I think the action learning group also, there was aspect of mentorships, because there was one leading, but has given us opportunity to share. It's like there was no control, who were in the position to share among ourselves, and that play a key role, that guidance. So in any work related to facility leaderships, need guidance, need someone at least lead. So what can we take to the community, or we work about our action learning group? For my case, if I can be like to give a chance to lead, provide information, communicate well, then you look at what need to be done in terms of communication, coordination, and then collaboration, and then team building, so that you work together. But if you sit back and say, oh, no, this one I cannot do, then you all stuck.
On my side, what the action learning session brought to us was the aspect of connections and also strengthening our relationships. I believe in those groups which you were in, there was a deeper relationship building that took place. Because I think in one of the sessions we were sharing that because we have been into these groups, I'm able to contact the other person, and previously we did not have this direct communication. So that aspect of deep connection and also expanding our relationship was something that that is positive, that action learning group brought.
And for that, I think we also learn on how to gain feedback and give feedback. Like some of us were really struggling, but when you share your case, you find somebody already having an idea of what to give you, or what to guide you on what you are doing. So there was that skill of gaining. As a leader, of course, you need to welcome the feedback and also guide other people, give them the feedback where they need to improve and where they need to leave what is not good, because there are some leaders who doesn't accept to be given a feedback. So this is one of the takeaways that really stick to my mind.
How do you connect it going to Loreto and cattle camp to action learning groups, so that we can learn from there? What have you from action learning groups? How do you translate it when you go to Loreto schools and then the cattle camp? Maybe if one of us can just contribute that.
On my side, I think during our visit in Loreto and also the cattle camp, linking it up with my case during the action learning group, the active listening, especially in the cattle camp. No, I don't speak the language, but then when I reached there, I was able to maybe to connect, and there was that communication. Though there were no words coming out, but I was able to connect with the cattle camp communities, especially the young ones who are collecting cow dungs. When I joined, they were also actively so excited to also collect cow dungs, so that it becomes kind of it became our activity that we had not agreed prior to do together, but since they saw me now having interest to join them, so there was that element of listening to what to my need of contribution to help them to collect cow dungs. And
Yeah. And connecting with how we visited the cattle camp, there is that guidance in the cattle camp, because there is no control. Even some of us never knew these people, or they never know us, but they were guidance. You see them, they guide us. Some of us who doesn't know how to go to different activities, but there was no control. It was open. If you want to touch this, you are allowed. There was that role that are being connected, and you see everyone is leading in the role that they are doing. So it become connected to how you really do your work. As a leader, you don't need to control or make a decision, but giving a people a way to give their ideas, the opinion, before you make the decision.
First of all, what struck me most, especially with the action learning groups, and is the design of the program. Usually, when the first time I saw the design, it's like, this is the program, and I'm seeing the cattle camp, and I'm seeing some Loreto, and I'm seeing something and I'm like, what do we have to do with the cattle camp in the training? See? So taking it out, little did I know that there's something that I can even learn in the cattle camp, because I've been in cattle camp for many years, and I never thought it's just something that can be part of our education system, that there is something that we can take away from. Anytime I'm going to Tonj, I'm passing through Loreto, and I didn't see that it has nothing to do with the flip or something like that, and part of my life. But at the end of the day, the design of the program made it in such a way that I can pick something from even those guys that are rearing chicken, that can be part of my learning.
Yeah. So if I'm getting well from my side, is like you should continue action learning group after this cohort, or what might be your suggestion?
Yeah, sure.
100%, we need to continue with LG and also practice with our team that are around us.
Okay, the structure will be determined on the other day. But what question can you learn? Maybe I'll look at what would be the future of this flicks we have ended today. What would be the future? Okay, a different question.
Maybe the next group can tell us the future of the flip.
Future of the flick, yes. Thank you so much.
My name is Christine Kide. I'm also a participant of the flip program.
Yeah, thank you. I'm called Marco Madut. I'm also a participant for the PLIF.
And my name is Nyano Biel, also a participant.
I'm Rob Lancaster, seat warmer for the final round.
Yeah, so coming from today's reflection in the morning on the future of sleep, I think it gave us an opportunity to think deeper on the direction of sleep. First of all, with our cohort, and also the next cohort, basically cohort 2. And to me, during that session, we looked into the journey. For the 1-year journey, what have we been through, how it was, because when you remember from the first time, we're almost 20 or 20 plus members for the first cohort, and by now that we are closing, we are roughly 14. So if we give us an opportunity to assess the journey, and I think we'll come up basically with a lot of things that we would wish happens different in the next cohort. Like, for example, we in the morning we came up with the action learning, the continuation of the action learning groups. We felt that it is important as a cohort, we give ourselves an opportunity to practice what we've learned, and also get an opportunity to report back maybe have a conversation with the facilitator to see if we are making progress or if there is a way he can give us feedback and also ask for support. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think to build up from there, Christine, is that not only continuing with the action learning groups, but we have given ourselves a time to say maybe we could conduct on quarterly basis and not really like the way we have come along the way, but we could do it on quarterly every 3 months, have one meeting, and then maybe at the end of the 12 months, we can have the social initiative where all of us can gather together, but the other meetings could be done online. And then and just to provide a peer support and also not to lose this kind of a network that we have built for a year. So that's the important part I also want to share.
Maybe just to build up, of course, Philip has been very, very useful to all of us. And maybe we did not want it to end it here. At least some other people also to get these elements to use and help them in the next future or the future coming. And I think bringing people together, continuing action learning, many people who have never participated in Flip can get a chance to participate and also to help themselves. I was thinking that we continue with the grouping meeting online and at some time coming once a year. Yeah, and then people who have not participated can participate in the Flip.
Yeah, maybe also to add something into that, from our conversation earlier, Pav mentioned something that we can, as experts now, can organize a masterclass for a particular group of people just to keep on practicing on our skills, but also creating a platform for people to learn a new approach of facilitative leadership. And that can be an opportunity to either use platforms like the National Youth Union, the ministry, depending on who is available to learn and who is willing to commit throughout the process. And also another thing is that we noted that this Flip is a unique session, like it's a unique program. Unless you understand in depth what the whole program is about, you might struggle to get to understanding it. But also, you might not be willing to commit to go through the whole program. So I think we felt it was important that at the onset of the next cohort, a lot of clarity is put forward for the people to understand before they commit to the session, so that when they start or when they commit to the next session, there will be no room for them to give excuses to pull out. But yeah, there are some unavoided circumstances that can be put into consideration, but at least we get a clear picture of what the whole program is about before we commit into it. And yes, I personally, I think it's a good opportunity that I have been able to improve on my facilitative skills, but also on the leadership style. That I feel I am carrying it forward to the institution I work with, where I will have to have a special consideration or intentional consideration for delegation and a consultative engagement. In as much as I know it comes with gaps where there will be issue of time, there will be issue of delays in terms of decision making and things like that. But starting the process at the moment is key for us to be better in the future management of time and process.
I think you have summarized. That's great.
Maybe we can also hear from Rob.
No, I'm the seat warmer, but let me finish with one more question for you. So if there's another cohort of the flip and there are people considering whether to join, what's one sentence you would say to them or one question you would ask them that would help them decide whether the flip is something for them?
I will say personally that it's the flip program challenges our belief of being vulnerable as a leader, because culturally we come from a context where a vulnerable person is not considered a good leader. So, but it will challenge you to become vulnerable, to let people inform you, decide with you, and work with you.
Yeah, and I think for me, it is the strength that come with Philip, where you have support within the content. You will be able to really address your issues like the traditional way we do in the leadership. So the Philip come with a different way of doing things. We really impact positively on what we do on daily basis, either at work or at the family level.
And for me, like people believe on themselves, like they believe that, or they take themselves that they know everything. But later on, you will come to realize that, oh, I was not on the right path. So maybe just to throw that question to ask whoever wants to join, maybe obviously they might have seen from other people who have joined the flip, but I would just ask simply, what morality have you seen, or what makes you moral to join the flip?
Beautiful.
Yeah. I also maybe just to add is something to do with passion. Some people might get the opportunity, but they're not passionate for the program. So the people for the next cohort, I think there should be a level of passion towards building their leadership style and facilitative leadership skills.
Yeah, and I think we also suggested, instead of allowing it open for people to be the one maybe having that interest, we could also set some criteria
And they apply.
when they are applying, just to make them self-aware of the whole process.
Yeah.
Great. So Minigano, David and Bav have been listening attentively to all of this, and we'll welcome them back for 2 minutes just to share any final reflections after listening to all these insights. Thank you. In 30 seconds each or less, any reflections after listening to all that's been shared?
I think after journeying with this cohort and after listening to them as they finish their classes or their training, I think for me, I just feel if they go back and lead and implement what they have learned, then South Sudan future in good hands.
Well, from the stories, it's clear to me that there's some changes that is already happening within individuals and in institutions as a result of being part of the flip. And one statement that keeps coming to my mind is I don't know who said it, but that if you want to go far, go with people, but if you want to go fast, go alone. And I think that also speak to the working together element of the flip program through the action learning group, but also through the teamwork that we have built as participants of the program.
I just find it fascinating that this struggle that a lot of humans have about being in control, and that when you're in control, you can make things happen. And yet, most of our human history, it's actually been working in groups, is the reason why we are here today. And so I find it interesting that a lot of the sharing is about the struggle between, do I control or do I collaborate?
Thanks to everyone for sharing. Now, at the end in the final session of the action learning groups, there was a discussion in each group about the whole process of the action learning groups, and a white paper, so-called, was produced, which is now on our website for anyone to read, which may also give a sense of what it's been about and what shifts it's driving towards with facilitative leadership. So that's all available on the website, www.pofss.org. So we'll see where we end up for the next POFcast, but thanks.
So maybe before we finish, I think there's one fundamental aspect of the program that no one's really mentioned yet. Can you guess what it is?
No.
Lunch.
I can't. but-
So as the program finished, I won't go into the details of it, but we collectively contributed money
Ooh, the flip.
to increase the membership of this cohort. And yesterday we collectively bought a goat, and the goat is now named Flip. And so one of the legacies and ongoing aspects of this program is that we are all collectively responsible for a goat called Flip.
And one of the intriguing elements of that process was that was the fruit of multiple failures as well.
Right.
And in another sense is translated into a legacy and an investment, which in itself is a facilitative leadership curious point. We'll throw up a picture of Flip at the end of this podcast for all of you to appreciate his beauty and her beauty. Sorry, her beauty. Oh, that means she can have little kids as well.
Someone discriminated there, she's pregnant.
All the better. Let's go have lunch. Thanks.
Thank you.